Welcome to the video that I've entitled A Much Too Quick Overview of the Life and Work of Jacques Lacan, structured around Lacan's influences as well as 5 key themes of his work: the unconscious, the mirror stage, the symbolic order, the phallus, and the real, the imaginary, and the symbolic. This video was written, produced, and is presented by me, Andrew Chapman. Jacques Lacan, 1901 to 1981, was a French psychoanalyst and philosopher who developed a unique approach to psychoanalysis that has had a significant impact on contemporary psychoanalytic theory as well as on other fields such as literary theory, philosophy, and cultural studies. Jacques Lacan was born in Paris, France in 1901 to a family of modest means. He grew up in a multilingual household and was exposed to various cultural and intellectual influences from a young age. Lacan studied medicine and psychiatry at the University of Paris, where he became interested in psychoanalysis. He began his psychoanalytic training with Rudolf Lowenstein, a disciple of Sigmund Freud, in the 1920s. Lacan was also influenced by the works of Hegel, Heidegger, Saussure, and Freud, among others. Lacan's theory of the unconscious goes beyond Freud's conception of it as a repository of repressed desires and memories. Lacan believed that the unconscious is not just a storage space for repressed material, but is also a realm of language and meaning. He argued that the unconscious is structured like a language with its own syntax, grammar, and vocabulary, and that it is through language that we access the unconscious. Lacan referred to this structured language as the unconscious discourse, and he believed that it could be analyzed and interpreted in much the same way that a linguist might analyze a spoken or written language. Lacan's theory of the mirror stage is a critical part of his understanding of subjectivity and identity. He argued that the mirror stage is a critical moment in a child's development because it marks the beginning of the process of identification, which he believed was central to the formation of the self. Lacan saw the mirror stage as a moment of fragmentation, where the child experiences their body as fragmented and their image as disunited. The child perceives their image as separate from themselves, and this enables them to begin the process of identification with their own image, which is a necessary step in the formation of the ego. Lacan's concept of the symbolic order refers to the set of language, customs, and social norms that mediate our relationships with ourselves, others, and the world. He believed that the symbolic order is necessary for our psychic functioning, but also that it can be oppressive and limiting. Lacan argued that the symbolic order is created and maintained through the use of signifiers, which are symbols that stand in for other things. He believed that the meaning of these signifiers is not fixed or universal, but is instead determined by the social and cultural context in which they are used. Lacan's concept of the phallus is central to his understanding of gender and sexuality. He used the term phallus to refer not just to the anatomical penis, but also to the symbolic power associated with masculinity. He argued that the phallus represents a lack that is central to the human experience, and that it is through our relationship to this lack that we construct our identities. Lacan believed that this lack is a fundamental aspect of the human condition and that it is the source of our desire. Lacan's tripartite model of the psyche, the real, the imaginary, and the symbolic, represents his understanding of the different ways in which we experience the world. The real refers to the world as it exists independently of our perceptions. The imaginary refers to the world as it appears to us, and the symbolic refers to the world as it is represented through language and other symbolic systems. Lacan believed that the real is impossible to fully access or comprehend, and that our experience of the world is always mediated through the imaginary and the symbolic. Lacan's ideas have had a significant impact on contemporary psychoanalytic theory and practice, as well as on other fields such as literary theory, philosophy, and cultural studies. Lacan's approach to psychoanalysis has been influential in emphasizing the importance of language and the symbolic order in understanding the psyche, and has been important in post-structuralist and postmodernist thought. His theory of the mirror stage has been influential in studies of subjectivity and identity, and his conception of the phallus has been important in discussions of gender and sexuality. In addition to his theoretical contributions, Lacan's impact on the practice of psychoanalysis has been significant. He was a major figure in the development of the French school of psychoanalysis, which emphasized the importance of the analyst's role in the analytic process. Lacan's work has also been influential in the development of the Lacanian school of psychoanalysis, which has sought to develop and extend his ideas. One of the main criticisms of Lacan's work is that it can be extremely difficult to understand. Lacan's writing is known for its complexity, and his ideas are often presented in dense, jargon-filled language that can be hard to decipher. Some critics have argued that Lacan's theories are so abstract and difficult to grasp that they are of limited practical use to clinicians. Additionally, Lacan's approach has been criticized for its lack of empirical validation, and some have argued that his focus on language and the symbolic order neglects important factors such as biology, social context, and interpersonal relationships. In conclusion, Jacques Lacan was a major figure in the development of psychoanalytic theory and practice in the 20th century. His ideas about the unconscious, the mirror stage, the symbolic order, the phallus, and the real, the imaginary, and the symbolic have had a lasting impact on the fields of psychoanalysis, literature, philosophy, and cultural studies. While his work has been criticized for its complexity and obscurity, Lacan's legacy continues to be influential and relevant to contemporary discussions of subjectivity, identity, language, and power. Thanks for watching this video, which I entitled A Much Too Quick Overview of the Life and Work of Jacques Lacan, structured around Lacan's influences as well as 5 key themes of his work: the unconscious, the mirror stage, the symbolic order, the phallus, and the real, the imaginary, and the symbolic. This video was written, produced, and presented by me, Andrew Chapman.